Hello, and a big welcome to all of you out there who are listening and seeing this podcast. Today we have a special guest. You have been here before, so a big welcome to Marina Parris, who's also working together with me. We have a lot in common.
Hmm.
So please tell us about you have a good topic today you want to talk about.
I think that my passion is the horse-human relationship.
Yes.
I think it's in my DNA to help out where I can, so the horses are understood. And through the work with the horses, people realize their own potential. I used to have that just as I work as a coach in equine facilitated learning for individuals and companies. And what I began doing since a few years now is taking the coaching practices, certain exercises, certain ways of working with horses into the riding world. And it's pretty cool to see the results, how people and their horses respond.
Mm. Yes. It's
Hmm.
a different way, and I
Completely.
I don't think that people have been doing this for a long time, but it's open up now, I think.
Hmm. I mean, I always start off as I just started a new group of people at this stables. And the first exercise I do with is one of the most powerful ones from the coaching standpoint. From the coaching part, you use it about learning about boundaries. You know, a lot of times we have boundaries in our heads, which are social boundaries on how close somebody should be to you, or, the ability to even set boundaries. People are used to a lot, not everybody, but a lot are just used to conforming, and, they do stuff for 20 other people. And then at the end of the day, they're exhausted because they've taken care of others and not themselves. So that's really the number one topic in coaching. So I took the same exercise from the coaching realm and brought it into the writing realm. And yesterday we started off the idea, at least my philosophy of working with horses, is that we're there to work together. And if we're there to work together, then both the human and the horse have a say in how things go. That means when the horse shows a reaction, I don't just go after them, but I reflect on what does it have to do with me, or what could it have to do with me? Not everything is one-to-one because horses have their issues and you have yours, but and it's as simple as when we go to get a horse, so to speak, whether it's out of a box, it could be out of a stable where they hang out together, it could be out on the pasture. There's there's a way of approaching the horses which almost draws them to you. And in this first interaction with the horse, their behavior to your approach has an influence on you. And once they realize you're paying attention, you're responding, you're doing something in response to what they're communicating to you, it raises a sort of curiosity. And it's pretty cool. It's just magical. People are just blown away every time something so simple. If I didn't do the coaching work, I would have never dawned on me either. And there's also there's the science behind it to explain why it does what it does with the horse and with the human.
Yeah, but sometimes it's a simple thing
Yeah,
that turns everything around.
totally.
Yeah.
I was wondering if should draw it for you, but I'll just explain it and just let me know if you have a question, because I think it's
Mm.
important for me to get this information to share it with people. One is, you can picture, when you're at a lake and you throw a water into the when you're a lake, you don't throw water into the lake, you throw a stone into the
So,
lake.
yeah.
Exactly. And then you have these rings that go out from the stone as it hits the water. Every living being, whether it's a person, it could be a wolf, it could be a horse, it could be my cat, because it works with all animals, has these rings around them, energetic rings. And as you approach a horse from a distance, you're going to walk, 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 walk. Then you're going to hit one of these rings. And a lot of people, they just walk through all these little rings, and every time you hit a ring, it activates an involuntary response in the horse. That means it's an ear is going to come, maybe the tail is going to respond, maybe they're going to shift their weight. At a bigger distance, the impulses, they call them proximity responses, are very subtle. So basically what you're doing is saying, okay, I notice that how I approach you is triggering something in your nervous system. So instead of just walking through all these little triggers in the system of the horse, if I just wait and say, okay, I wanted to take a step forward, but wait, I'll just put the weight on the hindquarters of the leg and back, drop my shoulders, and just continue with deep breathing in order to connect with the vagus nerve of the horse. That's just, the deep breathing is critical, so you keep the connection to the horse. You don't just look away to take pressure off, but you want to keep in connection with the horse or with the human. And then when you notice, okay, it's lowered its head again, then I can go from this one ring here, I just walk, 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 and I was, okay, there's another ring, same thing. It's called rock, back, and sigh. I want to take a step, and I don't wait like a sales lady who's going, which dress are you going to buy? That's what most people do. When they wait with a high expectation, it adds pressure. But as soon as I rock, back, and sigh, putting my weight onto my back leg, it takes the pressure off. And a lot of times when you do the exercise with people, they breathe out because you've given them space. And people that have had horses that are hard to catch, I find it a lot easier to, in a sense, catch these horses, because it's not the human going through all the different signals and the horse is talking to you the whole time. You're just ignoring everything. Basically saying, if you keep on going like that, I have to walk away.
Yes.
And a lot of times we come with, not on a Sunday morning, but if we come Monday through Friday to the horses, most of us, the energetic state, mental state, is one of total stress.
That's
And
right.
since that's contagious, I mean, I also don't like to be around people that come home, from work. They have a whole load of stress, and you feel they're just full of tension. It's like, okay, kind of like, go chill out,
Yeah.
and then come back to me.
I also usually talk about space, that you have a space as a human being, and the space for a horse is 5 times bigger than a human. And if you're walking on the street and there comes a strange one and come and talk to you right in your face, you will also back up. And this is often that what people do to horses. They just walk to them and think that I'm here, I love you, you have to love me back. But it's not like that.
It's they don't realize that I mean, a lot of people think the dialogue starts, okay, when we're in the arena, when I have something to do with you, and this other stuff doesn't count. How I get you from the pasture, how I lead you to the grooming part and all that. They don't realize that the dialogue and the relationship is already started there for the horse. It's not just, okay, I get it together when I want to jump, when I want to do exercises with the horse. Every little interaction is either going to build respect, trust, and enhance the relationship, or work against it. Whether you're aware of it or not, it's happening. And this one exercise is pretty amazing for people, because they're not used to even looking at the horse. All they see is, I got a halter in my hand and I have to put it on the head. They blend out everything else that the horse may be telling them on the way, and not realizing maybe if a horse's answer walking away, that it has to do with the way they're showing up. Because our energies radiate out into the field. That's been shown by the Heart Math Institute. It radiates out 3 meters. And you see it yourself. There's certain people you can just feel you don't want to be around them. Just a bundle of emotions and stress and everything. And the idea is to self-regulate. So you say, okay, that was then, I was at work. Now I'm going to take a few minutes to center and ground myself, to get in the frame of mind to be with the horse. It's just not fair to dump everything on the horse and go after the horse when all he's doing is mirroring back your level of stress.
Yeah, and you often hear, oh, the horse is not good today. He
Yeah.
didn't want to be with me. He didn't want to
Mhm.
do these things. And I just thought that I should write today and do this and this, and he wouldn't. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
but have a look at yourself at first.
Yeah, it's part of the equation.
Yeah.
You'd be silly not to.
Mm,
Really be silly not to. And because we're in the human world used to wearing a mask where you just kind of, we don't show emotions. People, we don't care how bad, we just need to get the work done. At work, you may go to the marketing and say, I need the figures. Can you give me the dates? When is the next meeting? We don't pay attention to much of the body language, but just have a job to do.
mm,
And a lot of times we unknowingly take that mindset to the horse. We just have a job to do. I just have to take him out, move him, and then put him back in again.
mm,
Then you get the results that you do. But once you start integrating the horse's feedback in in those first 5 minutes, it shifts everything you do afterwards.
mm.
It's not saying you're going to take 10 minutes to approach your horse every day, but it's just beginning to become more aware of what it's telling you. And that first part is just essential
Mm.
to
Ha-
building a bond.
Have
Connect.
you noticed a change in your students with this
Mm-hmm.
approach?
I've got feedback from the first one a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's this young girl, she's maybe 12 years old.
Huh?
And she said a horse that's normally hard to catch with this way of approaching the horse, it worked. And even within the course, we had a horse that always walks away. And I'm not saying it worked right away, but it worked a lot quicker than it normally did.
Mm.
Because it's also different from the horse. A horse is not used to being asked.
No,
You know,
that's
we
right.
just kind of do stuff. And so the horses, most of them, I would say a big portion respond right away, but it depends how you say, I don't know that, how they've been deadened by the humans in their interactions. You know, that horses may take a bit longer to come around because they've been treated in such a way where their opinions didn't count by humans. So why
Mm.
should this one example change everything?
Mm.
But it did take a bit longer with this one pony, but it came around. And
Yeah.
so the people are blown away by something so simple. I didn't know about it either. And they're involuntary responses. If you really pay attention to people as you approach them, they also have these involuntary proximity responses
Mm.
that they can't control. Because we do the exercises with people where they approach each other. One is direct line, which I just walked up to them the way I would with a horse and put the halter on. And the other is with these recognizing, okay, my approach is doing this to their nervous system. If I want to connect with them and I want them to listen to me, I better pay attention to what they're communicating to me at the nonverbal level. And it's also there phenomenal to watch the changes, even doing it without horses.
Mm.
Can you really slow your life down and pay attention to the other person?
Mm. And that is much harder today with a mobile
Yeah,
phone in the pocket.
it's very hard because we're doom, 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 doom and multitasking and we're hardly.
Yes.
But that's the gift of the horses.
Yeah, and most of the time you have the mobile phone. You want to take a picture of your horse, and you want to do this with your phone, and you're not
Mhm.
concentrating around the horse.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, it's a big
You
one.
think of, I don't know. I just think it's totally unfair. They're 22 hours, most of them, in this silly box or tiny area. They
Mm.
wait for you to come so they can get out.
Yeah.
And then I think they deserve your full attention in that time.
Mm.
I mean, if people really say my horse is my best friend, which a lot of them say that,
Mm.
and I think they mean it to some extent,
Yes.
I don't think they know any differently. They're just not aware. They love their horses, but they
Mm.
don't, there's not enough self-reflection in the picture.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I don't have that problem. My horses is coming
they
when I
come
when I
running.
show they come directly.
Mm-hmm.
But I had one once many years ago, and he just knew when we are going to do something special,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure also that was my reflections. I was a little
Mm-hmm.
bit nervous. We were going to competition.
Mm-hmm.
Then you couldn't get him. He just
A
walked
mile
away.
away. It's like, where are
Yeah.
you? Where are you? Mm-hmm. They
Yeah.
sense everything.
Mm.
They sense everything. I mean, if you know that certain animals or dogs or cats go to the door when their owner leaves work and the wife or husband is at home to prove that in a sense, then the horses are no different.
No.
They can pick up on changes in the human,
Mm.
even if you're not with them,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah. So if you have a horse like that, yeah, and you do this, what do you think? How long time will it take for a horse that maybe uh, are not connected to get in touch with it?
It doesn't take as long. It takes a couple times to tell you the truth.
Hmm.
I mean, we saw it yesterday too when we got there. It's a stables. It's a riding school, and they have Icelandic, so they have smaller horses, and some are no I don't know. Can't think of the English word either. They're always hard to catch, or they walk away when the human comes. And these people were said, I don't even like that horse because it was a pain to catch. So I'm saying, okay, find a way of dropping that, because if every time you're bringing that into the conversation, into the nonverbal dialogue, how you look at this horse, it's already sending a message to the horse
Yeah.
on that level. Plus, on the visual level, they walk in, they already see, they're not aware of it, but they already see the horse walking away from them.
Yeah.
So you're already sending this message of,
Mm.
I see you
But
walking
you
away
can
from
you
me.
can almost feel it when you
Yeah,
talk about it. And
yeah,
oh, I'm going to have this horse today.
yeah.
I
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
And I know, yeah, people bring the last interaction into today's interaction. And while horses also do that to some extent, they can change a lot easier because they're not steeped in these stories that we have.
Mm.
Yes, they have repetitive patterns or habits that they get into, but I find even in coaching, as soon as a human switches, the horse will switch.
Mm. I hear that a lot also with my students,
Hmm.
when they have been a couple of times with me and they come
Hmm.
back and they said, the horse is totally different.
Yeah, it's like dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. So it's beautiful. It doesn't take as long as we think. It's a human that
Mm.
takes a long time because they can't let go of the past.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And it is hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but
No.
it is through breathing and centering yourself before you go to the horse, you can let go of what happened last time. Because for them it's a new encounter. It's hard for us to imagine there's no past, no future.
Yeah, it is. And I'm
It
just thinking of all my years with horses. It
mm-hmm,
is only the last 20 years I have been thinking about this.
mm-hmm,
Before it was just, oh, that's a horse. He's going to do what I like to do, and
mm-hmm.
I have never thought of it in this way
Yeah,
as I
me
do
neither.
now.
Mine either. And it's opened up doors, and that's why I'd like to. My wish is that it opens doors and in here
Yes.
with people, and something just like the second part of the lesson was on how to communicate your goals to the horse. Just walking in, you have the arena, you have the letter in the middle from A to C, walking down the middle line. A lot of people just, okay, I want to go over there. I start walking, and there's a little jerk on the horse's head, and then it comes along most of the time. But you can, and for me is that people are just tapping into the physical level when they're communicating and not tapping to their full potential when they communicate, which is incorporating the mental and emotional level. So we spend time saying, okay, this is your goal. The same thing with catching the horse. You have a picture that it's not going to work, then it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But you can mentally, just like the professionals in any sport, already see yourself walking in a straight line from A to C. And you picture this, you visualize the success, not what you don't want. People subconsciously, 90% is what they don't want. So you really have to make an effort. Okay, even if my horse normally doesn't do it, we're going to send this picture to the horse.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to, in my heart, add the energy to it. Say, what does it feel like when we have gotten from A to C? And there's slack in the rope. How does that feel?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're adding emotions to the visualization. And then in the third step, you go to the physical level, put your hand out. It takes a little bit of the slack rope, and it's enough usually to ask the horse to move forward, because you put a feel through the rope that's comfortable. It's an invitation. It's not you must, it's an invitation.
Yeah. And you talk about visualization. They use it a lot in sports, but
Mhm.
not together with horses. I
Mhm.
don't know why, because when you see a sportsman, they always visualize that
Yeah.
they are winning, and you see their
Mhm.
gesture and everything. But with the horse, it's even more because you take the horse with you somehow.
Mhm.
Mm,
Mhm. And if you know that everything is energy at the end of the day, and that's their form of communication within the group,
mm,
then it makes sense for the humans, for us to also integrate these levels of communication into they just do it instinctually, and we have to make it a conscious effort
mm.
to visualize, to add emotions to whatever we want to achieve, and then to take it onto the physical plane.
That's why we can learn so much from horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
And
help us discover and realize what's inside of us.
yes,
That's the beauty of it.
we always are in the future somehow.
Yeah.
We have to back it up and get it back to where we should be.
Where we should be.
Mm.
And the multitasking in our world, which could be practical, is just not relevant in the horse world.
No.
I mean, in the human, you can maybe, do the dishes and think of the presentation, maybe get ideas what your presentation is all about. Or sometimes they say, the bath and the barn is where people get the most inspirations, when you've let everything go and you're just
Mm.
being. But the multitasking with horses is they need a focus,
Yeah.
you expect them to follow you, and then their leader isn't there because the leader is thinking about
So,
me. A friend of mine had a pretty nasty accident because she was really thinking of her shopping list and not of what was going on underneath her with the horse.
yeah.
She had a bad accident because we don't know what's going on underneath us.
No.
The animal's talking to us. I'm going to buck, I'm going to run, or I'm going to
I'm
whatever.
afraid.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid because you
Mm.
don't see this big ghost in the corner.
Yeah.
Or you think, okay, I'm a human, it doesn't matter, it's only a ghost. And the
Yeah.
horse says, no, that's a problem for me. So as soon as you think like a human and don't pay attention to what your horse is telling you, these surprises or things which you think it's a surprise, is for the horse, it's not a surprise.
No.
But for the human, it's a surprise because they weren't connected to paying attention what the horses was telling them.
Mm. Yeah, that's fantastic that you can do so much in small things just to turn it around. And
It's small stuff.
yeah,
It's 20% that changes the 80%.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be obvious, but I think it's terrible that it's so many years it takes us to realize what we really should do. That's the simple
Mm-hmm.
thing that matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, horses are just a gift to humanity once we realize what they have, what we can learn with
Mm.
them, with being around them, with riding them, with leading them. It's just a huge gift to me. And the thing is, once you have those skills or you kind of get it together in the horse world, then you can also use them for your own life.
Really, a lot.
I mean, one guy said yesterday, is this stuff with the boundaries and stuff, would this also impact a relationship? And, how would this impact a relationship at home?
Mm.
Because some people are, through their upbringing, are very needy and they hold on to their partners or spouses and whatever. And how would you, with that kind of person, then set a boundary saying, that may be your need to hold on to me and to, have physical closeness, but it's not my need in the relationship.
Mm.
And where do you then have the courage to then set boundaries? And when something doesn't feel good inside, learn to set a boundary. So yeah, it's the needy person, but if the other one doesn't say no, it's always two. They say you always need two to tango.
Yeah.
And yes, one person may have the issue, but as long as you play along with it, you're also part of the issue.
Mm.
And so yes, and I think in relationships, this thing with boundaries or saying, okay, I need my space today. Something
Yeah.
simple as that. Say,
Mm.
I'm feeling whatever.
Yeah.
I just need to spend time in my room or go for a walk. And
Mm.
so it has huge implications, this exercise in the human world.
Mm.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. You had also written a book, so tell us a little about that.
I wrote two books. One is after my visit to the wild horses in Bosnian. I wrote a book because although my horses had a good horse life, the sparkle that I saw in the wild horses is something I didn't see a whole lot. There's moments where you see that with your own
Mm.
horse, but it's not always there. And that prompted me to use the pictures from that trip to inspire people to, again, lead their own life and not a life of others.
Mm.
And that's that book, Wisdom of the Herd. And the second book is called A Heart for Horses, and it's 44 communication and relationship building skills that I learned. One is half of it is from my time with the old cowboys and cowboy wisdom. And I'm talking about cowboys that were relatively aware of what they were doing, not cowboys with the breaking. You don't break a horse.
No.
But Bill and Tom Dorrance were a huge influence for me with their horsemanship ideas. Really, they were in it. And one of their books was one is Horsemanship Through Feel. And that's the whole basis of my work now. And the other one is True Unity. Those really just the titles alone say everything.
Mm.
You create, and that's the idea behind the book, is to create the relationship so that your horse wants to be with you.
Mm.
I give my horse carrots and two and stuff, but even if the carrots are gone, they still want to do stuff together.
Yeah.
It's not just about the carrots. It's like the icing on the cake. So there's always a conflict. Should I give carrots or not? I do give them little stuff when I see them, but they still stay with me afterwards.
Mm.
And so the idea is what kind of human do I need to be so that the horse wants to be with me and allows me to lead them? And I think that's the ultimate, because if your horse doesn't want to be with you, then everything you do is going to be met with resistance because they'd
Mm.
rather be somewhere else or
Mm.
under somebody else's guidance.
Yeah.
And so that's what that book is about, to help people go in that direction by considering the horse's perspective.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a great
A
one.
big one, but
Yeah.
I think
And
without that, the other stuff is meaningless.
yes, it is.
The horse
It's
doesn't want
just
to be with you. It's like, geez.
no. It's like a slave then.
Yeah, I mean, you also have people you don't like to work with, and then you're stuck with them.
Mm.
You can change a job. It's not always easy, but you can. And a horse is just kind of stuck with
With
their
their
person.
owners, yeah. And sometimes they just getting sold to another owner who doesn't either understand them. So it's yeah, it's for the horses um, that we are thinking like this.
I think that's my whole life purpose or my joy that I can bring this awareness to riders
Yeah.
to show how powerful they are inside and to show them the power of the horse-human relationship. A horse that wants to be with you is just light. You don't have to think about people train the horses to be light. Well, if a horse already wants to be with you, then their movements are much different than if they don't want to be with you.
Hmm.
You know,
Really?
people
Yeah.
practice it in the arena, try and get the horse light and all that. But if you're already offering it in your day-to-day stuff, then when you get into the saddle or you do work in the arena or in hand, then that resistance is not there and the horse is already offering you the softness because it wants to be with you.
Yeah. That's a big one.
It
Yeah.
is a big one. And I mean, I went on my journey to get there. I wasn't born like that, and I didn't always treat horses like that. I thought,
No.
you had to do more with pressure and stuff. And there came a turning point where, hey, he wants to be with me. All of a sudden, things are getting light.
Mm.
And that does something to you when your horse wants to be with you.
Yeah, really. A lot.
I mean, you've experienced it with your horses. It's
Mm.
magic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's a lot of think about. As I said, it's simple, but it's not easy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, it's simple.
Mm.
Hmm.
So thank you so much for being here today. Uh, very, very good words, I think. I love it. I'm on the same page as you.
Hmm.
And yeah, if people want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
It's quite simple. The website, which is now in English, is called marinaparris.com.
Mm,
There you can find the books. The one I talked about is on Amazon as well in English, as an ebook and as a print book. And in my view, there's some pretty cool blogs
mm.
there as well just to inspire people in their daily interactions. So
Super,
just have
super.
fun reading it and go from there.
Yeah,
And if you have questions anytime, just drop an email and we can have a conversation.
yeah. And we could mention also that we have a membership group together
We have
where,
the magical happy horse. I love the name.
yeah,
Love the name.
Happy
And you
Horse
made a
Hub.
great Happy Horse Hub. And you
Yeah,
made a great logo to go with it.
yeah,
And because like you said, and that we're on the same page with where we and the same place in our hearts where we want to be with horses and create this awareness. And that's the reason we created the Happy Horse Hub,
yes.
because that's the result of the journey once you begin to want to understand the horse and you really have to understand how it thinks, how it behaves, what's natural to the horse.
Mm.
And given a horse is like that, how do I need to show up as a human, knowing all this, so that we can go on a journey together? And that's what our mission is in this case.
It is.
It
Yes.
is. It is, yeah.
So thank you so much. And thanks to you all out there for seeing this and listening. And
Mhm.
please subscribe so we can do this every week to give you a lot of good people out there who loves horses as well.
Exactly. We also have the weekly calls in the group. Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you so much
Thank
and have
you
a good
very much,
day.
Anne, for the opportunity.